This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
And unfortunately, at times, he reminds me a lot of my Yorkie, Ziggy, who's the smallest dog in the house, but is the bravest, toughest, and he thinks he's the baddest one in the world. Okay? When, one of my big dogs can just like bam and, slam him right against the wall if they wanted to, but they kind of laugh at him when he's like barking and all that, and they're like, "Yeah, kid, whatever. Sure." That kind of stuff. You know how it is if you have dogs. They're like, and they let him be the meanie that he thinks he is, and they're like laughing at him, that kind of stuff. So he's that guy, but he has to understand that he has a Yorkie body. Okay, he doesn't have the Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger built design body that can withstand some punishment. But he thinks like a Yorkie. The Yorkie is fearless. Anybody that owns one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're not afraid of a goddamn thing. Okay? You have a Yorkie walking on the street, and there's a 180-pound dog coming his way, and I swear to you, you need to hold the Yorkie back. You better pick him up. Why? Because he's just going to get himself dead. And he won't know any better. And in a way, that's kind of what I put it, akin to a person that is just willing to not give up. And Tua will not give up. And so he goes to an extreme that he puts himself at risk. And thanks to a bunch of you idiots out there that are constantly talking shit out of both ends, you're kind of the motivating factor to why he puts himself at risk. And there needs to, it's funny because his dad's a hard ass and he hasn't reached him. Saban's a hard ass and he hasn't reached him. Flo was an ignorant ass and he never even reached him. But this guy is completely different than his dad and different than Saban. And so it'll be interesting to see if Mike McDaniel, with his style, can actually reach where his dad and Saban haven't been able to go. Saban openly talked about it several years ago, that's his one problem. He's got to let go of plays. He wants to hang on because that's the warrior in him. And I get some of you out there, oh, yeah, Big O talks about him like he's some tough guy, warrior. And I mean, because you're size queens, right? We're back to Justin Herbert. Because if I say warrior, you have to look like The Rock. You've got to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? You've got to look like actually Conan the Barbarian, right? If I say that. You can't be a warrior and be a small person. That doesn't exist in size queens. Because, size queens only think quarterbacks come in one shape, one size. That's it. So for you size queens, when I say warrior, you have a problem understanding what I'm actually talking about. Because warrior has nothing to do with size. It has everything to do with heart. And if you don't think Carrie Strug, right, I think was her name, if that isn't the ultimate example of a warrior, I don't know what is. I have no idea. Don't have to be 6'5" and 245 and chiseled. Warriors come in all shapes and sizes, just like quarterbacks. I don't know if you guys know, some of you, I don't know if you know that, but that's the case. So that warrior is not going to give up. But we will find out if Mike McDaniel can build the bridge that Tua's father could not build and that Saban could not build. And so far, I mean, Tua has to see the love he gets from the locker room. You know what I mean? Obviously, what he has from his family. And now he has a wife, which I'm sure eventually they're going to have their own family. That's like, money in the bank. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Be just a little smarter back there. That's all. Just a little smarter. Fran Tarkenton had a hell of a career. And so did Bob Greasy, and so did Joe Montana, and so did Drew Brees. Guys like you can have a great career. But there's no such thing as a guy like you that plays like Cam Newton. Doesn't exist. The physical part of it does not allow it. So that's the part he's gotta let go of the Yorkie in him. That's what I would say.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.